The protagonist of the film is a genius Frenchman named Alexander. The movie starts with him trying to peek into his neighbor's room. He is trying every way to get close to her, showcasing that he is the ultimate simp. After brainstorming a bunch of different ways, he comes up with a mastermind of a plan. When his neighbor is on a vacation, he uses the opportunity to change her room design and install a two-way mirror. With this kind of mirror, everything is transparent from one side, while the other side looks like a normal mirror. He then breaks the walls between his apartment and hers and replaces it with the mirror. After everything is set up, Alexander's neighbor returns from vacation. She assumes that the newly installed mirror has been set up by the landlord and doesn't think much of it. She also carries on with her usual routine, oblivious to the fact that she is constantly being spied on. Moreover, the place is arranged in such a way that Alexander can even listen to her talk. For several weeks, he watches her sleep, change clothes, talk to herself, and do many things she would never have done in front of another soul. He finds out everything about her life, her habits, and her routine. He also particularly likes the fact that she likes to dance alone and talk to herself. It would be kind of sweet if it wasn't so fucked up. The scene changes to 5 months ago when it all started. Alexander actually already has a fiancée named Laure. It is Valentine's Day, and the couple is exchanging gifts. However, when Alexander opens his gift, he is upset to see just a pair of ordinary slippers. Laure kisses him to try to calm him down, but one can clearly see on Alexander's face that he is no longer passionate about Laure and is bored of their relationship. Desperate to get away from such a life, one night, Alexander visits his friend's cottage, which lies on a beautiful beach. To his surprise, as soon as he enters the place, he notices someone trying to break into the cottage. He hides for a while and witnesses a beautiful girl, Fan, entering the house through the window. The girl starts making herself comfortable as Alexander watches in awe. Soon after, he confronts her and calls her out for being a thief. Fan defends herself and reveals that the cottage belongs to her grandparents, Ty and Maud. Furthermore, she also tells him that she is a student at Maud's school, training to be a professional perfumer and an expert in smelling various scents. After confirming her identity, Alexander also discloses that Ty and Maud are his close friends. With the owners away from the cottage, Alexander and Fan are forced to spend the night together in the same room that only has a single bed. The next morning, they are rejoined by Ty and Maud, who are very happy to see them. After taking a bath, Alexander takes a look at Fan talking to Maud. He has always been attracted to her, but seeing her communicating with her grandmother makes him even more impressed. The following day, Alexander returns to his apartment and discovers his fiancée in the bedroom, dressed as an Italian call girl. Laure's plan was to excite him and rejuvenate their dull relationship. However, she is met with disappointment once again when Alexander ignores her entirely. Before leaving the apartment, she invites Alexander to meet her parents. Later, Alexander arrives at Laure's house, where he is warmly welcomed by her father. While talking to him, Laure's father asks him to join his family's funeral arrangement business. An annoyed Alexander asserts that he does not want to join the business, and also feels upset hearing Laure's father's bleak perspective on marriage. Somewhere else, Fan is with her friends, telling them about a handsome man named Alexander, who she is in love with. She is willing to approach him in a romantic way, but feels like something is stopping him from going all out. At the same time, things are more difficult for Alexander. He explains to Ty that all of his previous relationships have had the same disappointing pattern. Once he gets physical with a partner, the passion that was at the beginning is invariably replaced with regularity and boredom. When asked what the alternative is, Alexander responds with platonic love as his suggestion. He mentions that he will woo Fan for all of eternity without ever confessing his love for her, in order to avoid the dullness of coupledom in his new relationship with her. He will never kiss or engage in physical contact with her, since he believes that excitement comes from unsatisfied needs. A true simp indeed. He will remain physically with Laure, but he will never stop longing for Fan. The next day, Alexander takes Fan to a random apartment and arranges for a lovely dinner. When she asks him about the apartment, Alexander lies, telling her that it actually belongs to his father. He has prepared almost all of Fan's favorite cuisines for the dinner. While enjoying them, Fan shares some deeply private secrets about her body and life. After she is done talking, she asks for the way to the bathroom, washroom, but Alexander struggles to show her the way. Sometime later, the phone rings and a lady speaks in German. Fan grows suspicious and asks Alexander if the apartment actually belongs to him. Alexander tries to lie, but when Fan mentions the lady speaking in German and him not knowing where the washroom is, he is forced to tell her the truth. To their bad luck, the owner of the apartment returns home with his wife and is surprised to see an unknown couple enjoying dinner in their kitchen. While the wife tries to contact the police, Alexander and Fan flee, ruining their wonderful candlelit dinner. After they are out of the apartment, Alexander blindfolds Fan and takes her to a television studio where a set depicting Vienna in 1813 is located. She dresses up in a beautiful white gown, and the couple begins to dance while gazing into each other's eyes. The romantic date is disturbed when Alexander gets a minor cut on his lips when he falls from a height. Hence, they conclude their adventure-filled evening with a bottle of champagne on an imagined balcony overlooking a beautiful picture of Vienna. Alexander proposes a toast to their pure relationship, but titles it friendship. The comments annoy Fan, so she asks Alexander to drop her off at her friend Paul's house. He is a sculptor who is currently working on a body design of her. Later, Alexander returns to his apartment and is surprised to find Laura waiting for him, preparing a list of guests for their marriage. When she notices the cut on Alexander's lips, she suspects that he is cheating behind her back. Cheating with a porcupine, maybe. Strangely, Alexander acknowledges the fact that he actually did meet a girl, but reassures Laura that nothing will ever come of it. She listens to him and trusts him wholeheartedly. In the following scene, Fan and Alexander hang out together as friends on a beach. In the heat of the moment, Fan gets undressed and runs towards the ocean into the cold water. Moments later, she returns and asks Alexander to put some sunscreen on her back, to which he agrees. While Alexander is rubbing the lotion, we can clearly see that he is attracted to her. Unfortunately, just as he is about to kiss Fan, Laura unexpectedly arrives by boat. She excitedly mentions to him that the wedding preparations are almost done. Furthermore, she also announces that she is pregnant with his child. Fan is taken aback to learn that he already has a fiancé and that she's pregnant. As a result, she slaps him hard and walks away. Distracted by everything going on in her life, Fan fails her final exams. At the same time, Alexander comes to know that Laura actually lied to him about being pregnant, and he is furious at her. In a fit of rage, he throws away the wedding invitation cards that Laura asked him to mail to their relatives. After Alexander discards all the wedding invitations, Laura herself calls off the wedding. Later, Alexander looks for Fan and finds her boarding a bus to Italy. He desperately tries to chase her, but gives up after some time. Then he visits Ty and tells him that Laura is called off the wedding. Ty claims that Fan will be in Italy for 10 days and suggests Alexander go after her immediately. Alexander, who has decided to get her one way or the other, begins to formulate his next strategy. He rents an apartment next to Fan's, tears down the partition, and sets up a one-way mirror so that he can see into her apartment while remaining unnoticed. Oh yeah, I forgot about how creepy the beginning of this was. After 10 days, Fan returns from Italy and back to her apartment. She assumes that the newly installed mirror is set up by the landlord and doesn't see it as a problem. On the other side, Alexander can be seen keeping an eye on her. From that day onwards, it becomes a habit for him to watch her every day. Fan is fond of dancing, and she often practices alone while looking at her mirror. Sometimes, Alexander mimics her from the other side. Fan also has a habit of talking to herself every night. Alexander silently watches her and places his finger next to hers, although he can't feel it. Fan wakes up the next day and takes a bath. Alexander walks into the bath too, admiring Fan through the glass. Surprisingly, Fan takes the initiative to call him and apologizes for slapping him earlier. She then tells him that they can still be friends and hang out together. Alexander is happy to hear this, and even happier when she asks him to spend the weekend together, again, at the beach cottage as friends. However, the next day at the train station, his happiness turns into disappointment when he finds out that Fan has come with her sculptor friend, Paul. To make matters worse, Fan reveals that she and Paul are now a couple. Later, on the train to the beach cottage, Fan and Paul can be seen happy together. Watching this, Alexander is filled with jealousy, as Fan seems to have moved on. Shortly after, when Paul goes to get some juice, Alexander informs Fan that he and Laura have split up and that her pregnancy was a lie. However, Fan asserts that it is now too late. Later, when they arrive at the beach cottage house, Paul declares that he and Fan are soon to be married. Alexander is heartbroken but can do nothing to stop them. After the trip, both Fan and Alexander return to their respective apartments. Paul is also with Fan, but when he expresses his desire to stay overnight with her, she surprisingly replies that the show is now done and Paul's mission is over. Alexander, who is watching everything, understands what is going on. It turns out that their wedding plan was just a deception to make him jealous, and that Fan is still in love with Alexander. Later on, Tai has a long chat with his wife and cannot keep the secret about the one-way mirror from her. He asks her to not tell Fan, but Maud cannot keep the secret from her granddaughter and tells her everything about the mirror in her apartment. Shortly after, Fan returns to her apartment and asks Alexander to show himself. When she threatens to break the mirror, Alexander comes into her view and tells her how much he loves her. They softly kiss through the glass and try to feel one another, but Fan claims that she wants more. She pleads with Alexander to come to her room, but Alexander does not speak a word. Fan threatens him with yet another ultimatum. If he doesn't enter her room by 10 o'clock the next day, he will never see her again. When Alexander doesn't arrive, Fan leaves a letter stating that she's going to see her sister and moves out of her apartment. Alexander arrives at his apartment, and when he does not see Fan on the other side, he rushes to her room and reads the letter. He immediately calls Maud and feels devastated to learn that Fan's sister had died a long time ago, and the only way Fan can see her is by committing the unthinkable. He is heartbroken and blames himself for being too late to touch Fan's living body. But, to his surprise, Fan smashes the glass wall between their apartments and smiles at him. Alexander is so relieved that he rushes towards her, hugs her, and kisses her. The movie ends as Fan tells Alexander that he has time until dawn to win her back. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.